Hello, everyone, and welcome to Quiz Class. Today we have a general knowledge quiz with 100 questions. We're going to test your brains, your memory, and maybe even your luck. Let's take a look at our Quiz Class awards. You can tell us how you rank in the comments at the end, along with the answer to the bonus question. And moving right along, the subterranean water system of the Persians, still used in Iran, is known as what? Bagara, Kanat, or Aquila? Kanat. The dome of the rock's octagonal design is heavily influenced by which earlier structure? Byzantine martyrium churches, Roman amphitheaters, or Zoroastrian fire temples? Byzantine martyrium churches. Which obscure war in 1879 to 1884 was fought between Chile, Peru, and Bolivia? War of the Triple Alliance, Chaco War, or the War of the Pacific? War of the Pacific. The hollow earth theory was seriously promoted in the 17th century by whom? Athanasius Kircher, Robert Hooke, or Edmund Halley? Edmund Halley. In Greek philosophy, the Megarian school was founded by a student of which thinker? Aristotle, Pythagoras, or Socrates? Socrates. The Battle of Kadesh between Egyptians and Hittites is notable for being followed by what? Egyptian control of Anatolia, world's first known peace treaty, or the collapse of the Hittite Empire? World's first known peace treaty. Which musical work was originally subtitled Bonaparte? Beethoven's Symphony No. 3, Mozart's Jupiter Symphony, or Haydn's London Symphony? Beethoven's Symphony No. 3. The Roman aqueduct of Pont du Gard is located in which region? Northern Italy, southern France, or Spain? Southern France. The Cadet Revolution in 1905 took place in which empire? Ottoman, Austro-Hungarian, or Russian? The Russian Empire. We are at question 10. Which supposed element later debunked was thought to cause combustion? Caloric, phlogiston, or ether? Phlogiston. In Hindu philosophy, the school of Nyaya is primarily concerned with what? Ritual practice, yoga discipline, or logic and epistemology? Logic and epistemology. The 30 Years' War included the Battle of White Mountain near which city? Vienna, Dresden, or Prague? No time to Google. Prague. All right, next up, the Voynich manuscripts plant illustrations resemble flora from which region? Southeast Asia, Europe, or Central America? Central America. The Roman Colosseum used what innovative feature for crowd control? Vomitoria exits, rotating gates, or tiered rope lifts? Vomitoria exits. The Jacobite Rising of 1745 aimed to restore which monarch to the throne? Charles I, George II, or James Francis Edward Stuart's line? James Francis Edward Stuart's line. Which alchemist is credited with coining the term gas? Paracelsus, Jean Baptiste van Helmont, or Roger Bacon? Jean Baptiste van Helmont. In Islamic philosophy, Averroes is best known for his commentaries on which thinker? Aristotle, Plato, or Galen? Aristotle. Let's see if you get the next one. The Battle of the Golden Spurs in 1302 took place in which region? Normandy, Saxony, or Flanders? Flanders. Almost at question 20. What unusual effect did polywater supposedly exhibit before being debunked? Anomalously high viscosity, superconductivity, or self-ignition? I see some puzzled faces. Anomalously high viscosity. And we are on question 20. In medieval thought, the problem of universals debated what issue? Validity of miracles, existence of abstract forms, or origin of language? Existence of abstract forms. Which forgotten conflict was sparked by the Austrian succession crisis of 1740? War of the Austrian Succession, Franco-Prussian War, or War of Jenkins's Ear? War of the Austrian Succession. The Antikythera mechanism discovered in a shipwreck was designed for what? Navigational steering, currency conversion, or astronomical calculations? Astronomical calculations. The Council of Blood was a tribunal set up in which country? Spanish Netherlands, Portugal, or Austria? Spanish Netherlands. Which chemical element was once thought to be muriaticum? Bromine, chlorine, or oxygen? Let's see how confident you are with this one. Chlorine. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born into what condition? Aristocracy, military family, or slavery? Slavery. The Battle of Hattin in 1187 led directly to what event? The Fourth Crusade, Saladin's capture of Jerusalem, or the fall of Constantinople? Saladin's capture of Jerusalem. The composer Carlo Gesualdo is notorious not only for music, but for what? Murdering his wife and her lover, treason against Spain, or poisoning a rival composer? Murdering his wife and her lover. Which Egyptian pyramid was the first true smooth-sided pyramid? The Great Pyramid of Khufu, the Red Pyramid of Sneferu, or the Step Pyramid of Djoser? The Red Pyramid of Sneferu. The obscure Pig War of 1859 was a border dispute between whom? France and Spain, Spain and Portugal, or the US and Britain? The US and Britain. Let's keep going to question 30. The 19th century N-ray phenomena was supposedly detectable under what conditions? X-ray diffraction, metallic resonance, or human eye sensitivity changes? Human eye sensitivity changes. In Confucian thought, Li refers primarily to what? Legal codes, ritual propriety, or inner virtue? Ritual propriety. Let's see if you get the next one. The Battle of Talas in 751 CE led to the transfer of what knowledge to the Islamic world? Papermaking, gunpowder, or silk weaving? Papermaking. Which Renaissance artist created the enigmatic painting, The Tempest? Raphael, Giorgione, or Botticelli? Giorgione. Which Mesopotamian structure is thought to have inspired the story of the Tower of Babel? Ite-Menanke Ziggurat, Ur-Nammu Temple, or Mari Palace Tower? Ite-Menanke Ziggurat. Which short-lived republic was established in Rome in 1798? Roman Republic, Cisrhenian Republic, or Cisalpine Republic? The Roman Republic. Which alchemical principle referred to the universal solvent? Philosopher's Stone, Prima Materia, or alkahest? Alkahest. In Buddhist philosophy, anatta means what? Enlightenment, non-self, or rebirth? Non-self. Here we go, question 38. The obscure War of the Oranges in 1801 was fought between Spain and whom? Portugal, France, or Naples? Portugal. The ozone hole was first measured in which region? The Arctic, the Andes, or Antarctica? Antarctica. Next up, question 40. Which medieval philosopher developed the idea of double truth? Philosophy versus faith? Abelard, Averroes, or Aquinas? Averroes. The Battle of the Spurs was fought in which country? Hungary, France, or Spain? France. The medical oddity known as King's Evil was supposedly cured by what? Mercury ointments, burning herbs, or the royal touch? The royal touch. Okay, let's try this one. Which pre-Socratic philosopher argued that all reality is composed of numbers? Pythagoras, Heraclitus, or Democritus? Pythagoras. The dancing plague of 1518 broke out in which city? Augsburg, Cologne, or Strasbourg? Strasbourg. Which war was ended by the Treaty of the Pyrenees in 1659? The War of Spanish Succession, the Franco-Spanish War, or the 30 Years' War? The Franco-Spanish War. The lost Colossus of Rhodes was built to honor which deity? Poseidon, Helios, or Apollo? Helios. Next up, which rare mineral was once believed to be the philosopher's stone? Cinnabar, pyrite, or beryl? Cinnabar. In Taoism, the text Zhuangzi emphasizes what theme? Relativity of human concepts, strict ritual practice, or divine punishment? Relativity of human concepts. The obscure War of Jenkins's Ear broke out between Britain and which empire? France, Spain, or Portugal? Spain. I think that was a tough one. We are halfway through. Question 50. Which Baroque composer was nicknamed the Red Priest? Vivaldi, Johann Pachelbel, or Heinrich Schütz? Antonio Vivaldi. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon are theorized by some scholars to have actually been located where? Persepolis, Nineveh, or Babylon proper? Nineveh. The Decembrist revolt took place in which country? Poland, Hungary, or Russia? Russia. Which false chemical element was supposedly discovered by Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner? Osmium, Brunius, or cerium? Brunius. In Stoic ethics, apatheia refers to what state? Freedom from passions, complete ignorance, or joyful enlightenment? Freedom from passions. The obscure Battle of Saragari in 1897 involved which empire? Ottoman, Qing, or British Raj? British Raj. Which Renaissance polymath designed a precursor to the helicopter? Leon Battista Alberti, Leonardo da Vinci, or Girolamo Cardano? Leonardo da Vinci. The War of the Bavarian Succession in 1778 to 1779 is jokingly nicknamed what? The Potato War, Cheese War, or Bread War? The Potato War. On to the next one. Which philosopher is associated with the allegory of the cave? Socrates, Aristotle, or Plato? Plato. The Battle of the Ice in 1242 was fought on which frozen lake? Lake Peipus, Lake Ladoga, or Lake Balaton? Lake Peipus. The chemical theory of vitalism held that organic compounds contained what? Magnetic energy, a life force, or hidden metals? A life force. Moving right along, the Cynic philosopher Diogenes was said to live where? In the marketplace, in the temple, or in a barrel? In a barrel. The War of the Roses ended with which battle in 1487? Battle of Towton, Battle of Stoke Field, or Battle of Bosworth? Battle of Stoke Field. Here comes the next one. Which Baroque artist painted the Night Watch? Rembrandt, Rubens, or Vermeer? Rembrandt. The Incan fortress of Sacsayhuaman is built with what unusual feature? Hidden canals, suspended terraces, or massive interlocking stones? Massive interlocking stones. The Taiping Heavenly Kingdom combined Christianity with what? Confucian orthodoxy, Chinese millenarism, or Buddhism? Chinese millenarism. What was the medieval practice of trial by cold water meant to test? Physical strength, religious devotion, or guilt or innocence? Guilt or innocence. The defenestrations of Prague were acts of political protest in which empire? The Holy Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, or the Ottoman Empire? The Holy Roman Empire. Which chemical was mistakenly believed to be a cure-all called panacea? Sulfur, antimony, or mercury? Antimony. The philosopher Heraclitus is famous for saying what about change? You cannot step twice into the same river. Change is an illusion, or all is number. You cannot step twice into the same river. Question 70. The Battle of Lepanto in 1571 was a turning point against which naval power? Spain, Venice, or the Ottoman Empire? The Ottoman Empire. Which composer's final work was the Art of Fugue? Johann Sebastian Bach, Handel, or Telemann? That's the art of fugue. Johann Sebastian Bach. The Roman Pantheon's dome was constructed using what innovation? Brick vaulting, coffered concrete with oculus, or wooden reinforcement? Coffered concrete with oculus. The Zoot Suit riots occurred in which U.S. city during World War II? Los Angeles, Chicago, or New York? Los Angeles. The alchemical process of sublimation referred to what? Melting metals, converting lead to gold, or transformation of solids into vapor? Transformation of solids into vapor. In Confucianism, the concept of Ren signifies what? Humaneness and benevolence, ritual exactness, or justice by law? Humaneness and benevolence. Next question. The Battle of Sekigahara in 1600 established which shogunate? Ashikaga, Kamakura, or Tokugawa? Tokugawa. Who painted the mysterious Isle of the Dead series? Gustave Moreau, Arnold Böcklin, or Caspar David Friedrich? Arnold Böcklin. The Great Fire of London in 1666 started where? A bakery on Pudding Lane, a tavern near London Bridge, or a church crypt? A bakery on Pudding Lane. The Opium Wars were fought between China and which nation? France, Portugal, or Britain? And here goes Britain. We are on question 80. Let's keep it going. Which philosopher developed the categorical imperative? David Hume, Immanuel Kant, or George Hegel? Immanuel Kant. The Battle of Kosovo, 1389, is remembered in the epic poetry of which people? Serbs, Bulgarians, or Albanians? Let's see if you can get this one. The Serbs. The electric telegraph was first demonstrated successfully by whom? Joseph Henry, Samuel Morse, or Guglielmo Marconi? Samuel Morse. The Dreyfus Affair revealed divisions in which country? France, Germany, or Italy? France. The philosopher Zeno is best known for what? Atomism, hedonism, or paradoxes? Paradoxes. The Battle of the Catalonian Plains in 451 stopped whose advance? Attila the Hun, Charlemagne or Alaric the Goth? Attila the Hun. Which Baroque composer wrote the opera Dido and Aeneas? Claudio Monteverdi, Jean-Baptiste Lully, or Henri Purcell? Henri Purcell. The great Zimbabwe ruins are made primarily from what material? Adobe clay, basalt, or stone blocks without mortar? Stone blocks without mortar. The Boxer Rebellion in China opposed what? Opium cultivation, foreign imperialism and Christianity, or the Qing dynasty taxes? Foreign imperialism and Christianity. Which philosopher wrote Being and Time? Jean-Paul Sartre, Edmund Husserl, or Martin Heidegger? Martin Heidegger. We are in question 90. The Battle of Actium decided the struggle between Octavian and whom? Pompey, Brutus, or Mark Antony and Cleopatra? Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Who painted the Arnolfini portrait? Hans Memling, Jan van Eyck, or Rogier van der Weyden? Jan van Eyck. The siege of Tenochtitlan in 1521 ended which empire? Maya, Inca, or Aztec? And let's see the answer. Aztec. Let's keep going. Which philosopher is known for the phrase, God is dead? Jean-Paul Sartre, Friedrich Nietzsche, or Soren Kierkegaard? Friedrich Nietzsche. The Battle of Bannockburn in 1314 was a victory for which kingdom? England, Wales, or Scotland? Scotland. The alchemical symbol of Ouroboros depicts what? A serpent eating its own tail, a phoenix rising, or twin suns merging? A serpent eating its own tail. In Taoist thought, Wu Wei refers to what? Cosmic order, heavenly reward, or effortless action? Effortless action. The Battle of Tours in 732 halted which invasion? Viking raids, Mongol advance, or Umayyad expansion into Europe? It's a toughie. Umayyad expansion into Europe. Which Romantic composer created Symphonie Fantastique? Franz Liszt, Robert Schumann, or Hector Berlioz? Hector Berlioz. The Hagia Sophia's conversion into a mosque added which feature? Frescoes, underground cistern, or minarets? minarets. And we are at question 100. The Battle of Cannae in 216 BCE is famous for whose double envelopment tactic? Scipio Africanus, Hannibal, or Pyrrhus of Epirus? Hannibal. Bonus question. The dancing Shiva statue in Hindu art symbolizes what? Let us know the answer in the comments. And here we have our quiz class Einstein rewards. Please tell us how you ranked, as well as the bonus answer, of course. Thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in our next one. Bye-bye.